Okay, so before we start, I'll just get a little bit of background on both Vicky and Jack, and I'm delighted that they've both been able to join us here to discuss this idea of coaching pathways. We are fully aware of the importance of football coaching as the backbone of a successful game, right through from grassroots football up to the elite level. And we thought it was a really good idea to kick off our Love Football Zone with quite a football-focused topic around coaching football. We will be tackling some more in-depth issues over the last 3 days, but what we've realised and what has come to my realisation over the last few years is that in every single element of football around football development, a good coach is really important, whether that is in the elite lane, the grassroots game, across every country. And it always comes back to the importance of having a strong coaching structure within your country. And Vicky is a very experienced coach. I've been lucky enough to work with her several times and be on panels with her as well. And she really is one of the leading female coaches in the UK at the moment. She's the Women and Girls Programme Lead at Liverpool Football Club Foundation. Alongside that, she works for Liverpool Football Club, the women's team, in their development team, and alongside that she's now working in the England setup as well, and she was named the FA Female Development Coach of the Year 2015. So we really are joined today by one of the new young breed of female coaches coming through the game, and it's very exciting to have her with us on the stage. Alongside that, Jack is the Regional Coach Development Manager for the Football Association, based here up in Liverpool, and coach education is such an important part of the FA's strategy, and I'm delighted that Jack has been able to join us today. He's got several years' experience as both a coach educator and now managing this concept of coach development within the Football Association. And Jack, I'm sure, will share some more of his own story as we move forward. For those of you that were with us last year here in the Love Football Zone, we had Kelly Simmons, Director of Participation, kick off the Love Football Zone. And she discussed with us the FA strategy from 2015 to 2019 and highlighted the importance of coach education and how that's an integral part of the strategy moving forward. And so that's why I thought it would be good to kick off this year with a little bit more in-depth look at coach education as part of that strategy. So Jack, I am going to kick off with you. Welcome to the Love Football Zone. Why is coach education such an important part, kind of focus for the FA?
Well, firstly, thanks for mentioning that I've come from Liverpool, so that'll be fun trying to get out of here in Manchester today.
You're wearing the tracksuit.
I know. Yeah, it's really it's multi-pronged, really. If you look at the way that the FA is put together in terms of divisions. You mentioned Kelly Simmons last year. So Kelly heads up our division, football development and participation. I work within the technical division, which is headed up by Dan Ashworth. And really, coach education sits, or coaching and coach education sits across those, and has a vital role to play in both. Kelly's division is all around more and better, so not just numbers but players, quality and quantity of players, teams, clubs, leagues and so on. So coach education really sits at the heart of that, as you mentioned before. You know, without that quality coach, or without those positive early experiences in grassroots, where every player starts, players will get turned off, we lose players from the game. In the division which I sit in, we've got really two main aims, which is England teams winning and a world-class education system. And coach education, where we sit, again, sits right in between those two. So we're kind of responsible for, like Vicky, the next generation of coaches who are going to go and take on those England teams and hopefully the winning England teams. And also, you know, we're responsible for delivering this world-class education system. So it sits right across the whole of the FA, really.
I think you talked there about a world-class education system. That's quite a big, bold statement,
Yep.
so to speak. As in, what is the FA doing to try and ensure that it is a world-class education system?
Well, I think one of the things that has fairly been criticised is the lack of willingness to change, I suppose. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we've conducted a massive review of what is what does coaching mean to us in the FA, and therefore what should coach education look like, and then have we got the right resources, do we have the right pathway, do we have the right tutors to deliver this. And over the last 12 months, significantly, we've launched just over 12 months ago the new level 1 and level 2. This month we'll be launching the new UEFA B, and I think we're not afraid to move quickly when we need to. And we've got, when I joined the FA, which was 2011, the technical division, which included the national coaches, was 70 people. There's now over 300 people, just 5 or 6 years down the road. So the investment into our division has been absolutely huge. Where before there was 8 of me in the country, we now have a team of 40 who then look after another team of 250 affiliate tutors. So we've got strength in numbers, I believe now. We've got the right people on board, and I'm confident we're already seeing some significant changes.
I guess that's the thing. There's often been discussions over the years of a lack of coaches within England, and that comes down to a need for more tutors. And so, has there been a focus then on increasing the number and quality of tutors alongside wanting to increase those number of coaches, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. And we recognise that, and from the feedback that we get from coaches who come on and experience education, many of whom it might be their first taste of education since they were at school 40 years ago, getting slapped over the hand with a ruler for not getting a question right in maths. So we've got to respect that and understand, the audience that are sat in front of us, and it's the tutors that really bring this to life. So, like I said, 18 months ago, we invited everyone to reapply. The process, or where we're going now, is much more around teaching for learning rather than just for outcome of delivery. So actually thinking about, well, who are the people in front of us, and what do they need? And okay, we've got the content, we've got the courses and so on to deliver, but actually let's just put the people who are in front of us first rather than the content first. So it's almost flipped on its head.
And so, Vicky, obviously you've been through this pathway.
I have, yeah.
Firstly, I just thought it'd be quite interesting off the back of what Jack was just saying there. So, what course have you done? What qualifications have you got? And how did you find your experience going through that pathway?
It's quite funny actually listening to Jack, because as he's going on, I was ticking it off. Yeah, I can understand that. I've been through that journey. But I started off in grassroots football many years ago. I worked at my local football club in their community, which was Mactown Football Club at the time. And I did my FA level 1, and they put me on to my FA level 2, which on both of those courses I was the only female coach to attend those courses. And then I got a job 9 years ago working for Liverpool Football Club, where I did my UEFA B licence, and again I was the only female to attend that course, which never been a problem for me because I've got 3 brothers, so it's no problem being the only female on the course. For some females that can be quite intimidating, I can imagine. And then I have just completed my UEFA A licence last Christmas, so the opportunities that the UEFA A licence has given me, the doors have opened, have been fantastic. Last week I was out with the England under-17 squad playing USA, so I just come back from Portland, which was a fantastic trip. Last April I worked with the England under-20 squad, so in terms of support from the FA, without you guys, Jack, I wouldn't be where I am today, because you really have educated me on the pathway, but also not just educated me, you've opened doors and helped me get through those doors. So it's been a good journey. I've enjoyed it so far. There's been lots of challenges, but they say a skillful sailor doesn't become skillful without a rough sea. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Very true. And I guess it's that balance, isn't it, between education and mentoring. So have you found that they have both mentored you through that process as well as just the actual courses?
Yeah, so the FA actually a couple of years ago started a female mentoring course, which Brent Hills actually headed up. And we got taken away and put on A licence sessions, and they would deliver us with international players. And I think that's something that's really helped me, having that one-to-one contact with somebody of his level that has worked in the elite pathway to actually help educate me, and then I can take that back to my club with my elite players at Liverpool. So I think we are very lucky compared to some countries in what support they get, but there's also loads of room for improvement everywhere. So.
Yeah, and I think a story for you. Vicky was recently asked to be the coach for the Liverpool legends of Gerrard, Fowler and co. And I met up with Steven Gerrard, luckily, and we were discussing some of the best coaches that he was being influenced in his new role as Liverpool's under-18 coach. And he actually quoted Vicky saying what an influence she was having on him in his coaching journey and an inspiration. So there you go. I'm not sure whether I told you that, Vicky, but Steven Gerrard thinks you're a very good coach and you're an inspiration to him as well.
I paid him to say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't really.
So, Jack, obviously you mentioned earlier the new UEFA B. We have a short video that we'll show in a moment. Why did you feel there was a need to refresh the UEFA B?
I think what we've done in the past, so Vicky came through, she's come on a bit of a unique journey really, because the bulk of what the journey she came through would have been the old system. And she might have I think you might have just drifted into the new A licence as you come through.
I was just the last course of the old one.
Yeah, I thought you might have been. So
yeah.
There was a lot of good about what was going on in the past, but what we recognise is that we've got to get away from this prescriptive method. So no coach, coaching is all about helping players, and no coach works in the same context. So it's what we're trying to do now is recognise that it's very much context driven. Vicky might be working with the under-21s, the development team, in an elite environment, but on the same course, I could be working with the under-7s and the grassroots, and I just want to know how to keep them under control and get out of there alive. So we've tried to, like I mentioned, flip the model a little bit and move the course to in situ support rather than show us what you've got and take a session with a group of adults who will do exactly what you say because they're all your mates on the course. Okay, we recognise that there is some value in that, but not probably as much value as me as the tutor coming out to work with you in your environment. So now, with the new courses, with the level 2, UEFA B, UEFA A, the tutor will have a small pool of learners. And actually the course comes out to you, so I will work with you in situ with your own players and your environment and try to look at some natural behaviours rather than predetermined by a checklist.
Well, let's have a little look now. We've got a video that the FA have just launched on their new UEFA B coaching course.
Welcome to the FA Level 3 UEFA B in coaching football. This internationally recognised qualification continues your journey.
We're going to start it again because we've got nothing on the screen. Here we go.
Here we go.
Welcome to the FA Level 3 UEFA B in coaching football. This internationally recognised qualification continues your journey on the FA Coach Education pathway, developing the core principles of the England DNA that relate to how we coach, how we play, how we support, and the future player. This will help you refine your own beliefs, values, and coaching and playing philosophy.
My name's Beck.
We will ask you to look at the players you work with and explore how you can help develop them through designing practices that meet their technical and tactical, physical, psychological, and social needs. We will also help you to understand the demands of the game and how to meet the needs of players as they build a deeper understanding of their various roles and responsibilities within the team. Football is filled with complex decision-making scenarios. Designing relevant game-like practices with plenty of decision-making opportunities is crucial, so that players are able to practice and prepare for competition. Empowering players to take ownership of their own learning is vitally important to support the development of innovative and creative players. This course will cover key issues in modern coaching and look at how the player works with others in the various units of the team and how those units combine to achieve success. It will help you to reflect on, realise the impact of, and justify the decisions you make, whilst encouraging a long-term view of player development that links to player performance. Whether you're undertaking the course as a grassroots coach to reach the pinnacle of the grassroots qualification pathway, or to gain entry to the profession of coaching within the professional game, the course will examine what relevant and effective practice looks like in both training and competition. The aim is predominantly to support you with players working in the 11v11 format of the game. Tutors will offer support both on course and in your own coaching environment.
Got the opportunity to receive it. Slow it down.
Thank you for committing to the next stage of your coaching journey. By attending the FA Level 3 UEFA B in coaching football, you'll be undertaking a qualification that is recognised around the world within the profession of coaching and across the football industry.
That's stopping the opponent turning. Turn around with the ball. That's stopping the opponent playing the ball forward.
When it's with the back line, get yourself into a position to receive feet. Okay.
There we go. So I think quite interesting there was that term of coaching pathway, wasn't it? And Vicky, I just wanted to come to you there that Jen, when she was discussing the impact this year of the women's game and how successful the women's team is becoming, there still does seem to be a slight lack of female coaches at the top of the female game. Obviously, Mark Sampson's doing a fantastic job, but obviously he's not a female coach, if you know what I mean. And do you think that there needs to be an increase in focus on female coaches? I think there's been a big increase focus on female participation as players, but do you think there now needs to be a big focus on female coaches getting into the game?
Yeah, I think probably what we don't see, because obviously in the Women's Super League we don't have many female managers. In the Women's Euros in the summer we don't have many female managers, even though a female manager won the Euros. But I think what we don't see with the FA is that they're actually running female-only courses at level 1, and I think that's really good for them because for me, I didn't mind being in the male environment because I have 3 brothers, but for some females it can be quite daunting to go and step out your comfort zone with 32 men that have got strong opinions and go and sit there with them and try and discuss and try and develop and stand up and speak in front of people. That's a skill on its own. So I think doing female-only level 1 courses is a fantastic way to get them in right at the bottom, and we'll start to see them coming through. So I'm quite lucky that I work in club football with the girls RTC and with the girls development squads in the Women's Super League, and I do get to see some fantastic female coaches that are now starting to come through, and I think in maybe the next 2 to 3 years we'll see more and more female managers, especially the players that are now retiring and they're going. So Kelly Smith's doing fantastic at Arsenal with her coaching journey. I'm sure there's going to be many more. Casey Stoney as well, I'm sure she'll go into coaching because she's already started coaching at Liverpool. So I think we need to be a bit patient because you shouldn't just get the job just because you're female. You should get it because you're good enough. And I think there's many fantastic females that are coming through now that will start to stand out and will get those opportunities hopefully.
I think it's really important that with more female players that they have those role models of female coaches. Vicky and I, Jad, I've got a little 2-year-old girl and I'm looking forward to Vicky coaching her hopefully one day. And so therefore I guess, Jack, it's important that if we're getting those female-only courses at level 1, you manage to keep them through the pathway, that they have that positive experience and you manage to kind of mentor them through the process.
Yeah, and it's great timing actually. You've set me up nicely here because this evening I'm going out to work with a lady called Lisa. So she is on a female-only level 2 with us at the moment. She's come through a pathway that started with a group of ladies in Liverpool back in July last year. So I've had them all the way through for the last 14 months now, and we'll continue for probably the rest of this season working together on their level 2. So I'm going to watch her in situ tonight, working with her players. So the importance of that social bond I find with the women coming through the pathway together is really crucial. And like you heard in the video there, it's moving towards trying to get the coaches to justify their own beliefs and decisions rather than being spoon-fed from, for example, the FA. We're trying to say now, look, this is what we believe in, but tell us what you believe in, and we'll help you to kind of rationalise those justifications and beliefs.
I guess it's understanding, isn't it, the diverse nature of where coaches coach. and understanding that there is such a diverse, especially, which is a real promising thing. This afternoon we've got some of the Premier League clubs here discussing where their coaches are working, the different environments they're working, whether that's in schools or grassroots or girls football or inclusion sessions or teams, that you therefore need a coach education system that supports that diverse kind of range of opportunities for the coaches.
Absolutely, and you know, it's 2017 now, and never before in human history has so much information been accessible to so many so easily, and we have to recognise that, and we try to put an education system together that reflects that. You know, we're trying to give away as much as we can. For example, the new learning hub on the FA website has so much content and video footage now, and sort of mini online courses that people can go and devour at their own rate. The problem becomes when you try to please everybody, because you'll end up just getting nowhere. So on with the actual coach education, the pathway now from level 1 through to UEFA A and Pro license, we recognise that, or what we're trying to do is help coaches who fundamentally work with teams who play in games. That's the majority, that's the bulk of the coaches who either want to or have to come on our courses. So whilst there are a number of coaches who work in all sorts of different domains, who we still support through the mentoring programme, through the skills programme, our coach education pathway is stripped to, if you work with a team, then we can help you get better.
Oh, that's really important. And Vicky, it was interesting that you mentioned Kelly Smith, Casey Stoney moving into the game. Look, it's been a big discussion point every time we need a New England manager, whether it should be an ex-player, etc., etc. And obviously, Gareth Southgate now at the helm of England. Do you think that is going to be a new shift, as you mentioned, of some of the current crop of England players that are now going to start to become coaches at the highest level? I
think it's fantastic if they do, because the experience that they've got playing at the top level, they can, and also they're top female role models, and to be honest, there's not many of those around. We don't get as much media coverage as I believe we should, although it's improved a lot with the success that we've had over the past couple of years. But I think it's only a positive, because I've been lucky enough to work with Farrah Williams when she was at Liverpool, and she come and coached with me, and some of the things that I learnt from her as a player and she learnt from me as a coach, it just doubled up the positive effects that we can have on getting messages across to our players. So I think it's a real positive.
I know, it sounds like a very positive and exciting time. And so as we kind of look to wrap up this session, Jack, just a couple of questions to you. Firstly, if you were going to give a coach one piece of advice, what would it be? That's question one. And question two is around kind of what does the next 12 months look for? I know you obviously look after the Northwest, but kind of the FA education system other than the UEFA B launching.
Yeah, well, just winding back, just to the point on the last question there, interestingly, Gareth was asked the same question around the advantages of being an ex-player or not, and he said that what he finds is that the playing at the top level of the game has only become an advantage to him since he's learned how to coach, and he feels there's no shortcut. Actually, coaching is around teaching. You need to learn that skill first, and only then will the playing experience come through. So I thought that might help. So first question was advice.
Although that's a good piece of advice.
It's not about
for the ex-pros involved in the game.
I think that probably the being around coaching and coach education for more than half my life, the number one skill, certainly working in developmental football, is patience, and the coaches who can learn to exhibit and practice patience often go further down the line. If you've got that natural curiosity to want to get better, which I think most coaches do, those things will come naturally. But patience, I would say, is the key skill. Just remind me of the second question again.
What does the next 12 months look for you as in your role, and also kind of for the FA coach education team as a whole?
Yeah, well, we're going to be quite busy with UEFA B rollout. So last season, we mentioned numbers before. Last season, we delivered around 8 UEFA Bs around the country, regionally done, administered by the FA. This season, it's going out to the county FAs. So we're going to go from delivering 8 last season to closer to 50 this season. So it's going to be quite a challenge, but a good one. So that's probably going to take up the bulk of our work. Is we'll now see consistently the coaches coming through from their level 1 right the way through to UEFA B. And for me, it'll be a season of, I suppose, new challenge with the UEFA B, consolidating last season and working with our team and full-time educators in the Northwest and our affiliate tutors. So.
Oh, that's exciting. And Vicky, the same 2 questions to you. As in, it was very exciting to hear about your trip with the England team. I'm hoping that might be something that you're going to continue working on over the next season. So a piece of advice and what the next 12 months look like for you.
My advice for female coaches would be get your hours in coaching, because they're really, really important. You can't rush the journey. If you rush the journey, you miss out on the experiences that you'll need further on. So get yourself in a grassroots club. If you're wanting to step up through the pathway in the women's game or even into the men's game where it's more pressured and it's more elite, then my advice is that try and get on the courses where you are going to be isolated, you are going to be one of the only female coaches on the course, because from my journey it's been very challenging. I mean, on my A licence that I completed last year, there's 32 guys, all that worked within the lads' academies across the country, and I was the only female on it, and the challenges around that was positive, and it grew me with thick skin and resilience. But also I've made friends for life. I get access to their academies now and watch them coach, and they've given me endless support. So my advice to females, if you really want to step up and go right to the top, then don't make your journey easy for you. Go and put yourself right in the mix. And if you don't feel comfortable, then there's also access to the female-only courses that you can do and branch off. But you've got to start getting your hours in at grassroots, and then you can look to progress. But I think there's 32 RTCs across the country that are girls' centre of excellences, if you like. So there's opportunities to coach in the women's elite pathway, and then from that, if you get your hours in, like I did, then there's other opportunities to step into regional excellent camps, national performance camps, and then the national teams with England. So the opportunities now for female coaches is very exciting, and it's only going to get better, but you've got to start right at the bottom and get your foundation blocks in first.
And the next 12 months for you, your personal goals and targets as you continue on your coaching pathway?
Who knows, Jez? I might be in Hong Kong again with you, delivering with Premier skills, I don't know, but I absolutely love football. It's 7 days a week for me, and I wouldn't change that for the world, so who knows where I'm going to go? Who knows?
Well, look, Jack, Vicky, thank you so much for coming and joining us here on the Love Football Zone at Soccerex 2017 to open it for us, to have a fascinating discussion around coaching and the coaching pathways. I'm sure Jack and Vicky will head over to our little networking area over on the side if you'd like to have a chat with either of them. We're going to be back here this afternoon at 2 p.m. for our takeover by the Premier League, where we have some fascinating insights into the Premier League's Primary Stars programme. Alongside the Premier League trophy will be up on the stage as well. But from Vicky and Jack, thank you guys very much indeed. If you'd like to give them a big round of applause, thank you guys so much.